Oh, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Giant Hot Takes podcast, your home for the hottest takes by the San Francisco Giants. It's been a minute here. Got a nice special guest here. We got Colton with SF Giants today. Before we get going, make sure to subscribe here. Go follow him. Is it sfgiants.today on Instagram, Colton?
Yes, sir. Yes, it is. First off, I just want to say this mustache doesn't look as good as I thought it did, but we can skip over that. It is SF Giants today on Instagram. I also have an X that you guys can follow if you want to. Don't recommend it, but it's definitely there if you want to check it out. But I cover everything Giants on the Instagram, so I definitely recommend you follow that.
Yeah, 100% go follow that. I mean, the mustache would not be the worst mustache in the would not be the worst mustache in the clubhouse in Mustache May. So you have that
Definitely
going
not.
for you.
Definitely not.
I mean,
Definitely
yeah, shit. It's a rough month there in
not.
May. But going to the end of the season, we're going to start at the top. We're going to have a very fun episode today. We're going to go quick end of season recap, firing of Bob Melvin, hiring of Tony Vitello, and then we are going to get into some Giants needs and places to improve, and then open it up for some Q&A to end it here. We're fired up to be back. Haven't talked to Colton about this, but if this goes well, definitely something I'd love to keep doing with him during the season. But we'll start it at the top. Giants finish 81-81 because, of course, they did. On September 12th, they got back within a half game after the Patrick Bailey walk-off grand slam. They totally collapsed after. What do you think went wrong? Did you believe there for a second in September? Just kind of give me your overarching themes for that roller coaster of a month that September was.
Yeah, for sure. So until I saw these notes, I completely forgot about that run. I forgot we were a half game out, but we were in fact a half game out, which is crazy to think about. And then they just totally collapsed. They were on like I think it was like 12-2 in their last 14, and
Yep.
that was unsustainable. They lost everything after August 1st. They traded Duvall, they traded Rogers, Randy Rodriguez went down, and that bullpen was depleted. And the bats were on fire during that win streak. And this is a long season. We've seen these bats over the course of the season, and that was not gonna stay up to par, especially with those playoffs getting closer. It kind of scares this team a little bit. So I didn't think it was sustainable, especially because the Mets had the tiebreaker, and that was kind of iffy. So a lot of stuff had to go right for us to get into the playoffs. They sold at the deadline. It was kind of a challenge to like climb back up from there, but definitely a lot of things to be happy about for sure. But I don't those two Bailey walk-offs, I just don't understand how the momentum went down the drain after those. Doesn't really make sense to me, but
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. And speak of momentum going on the drain, I mean, I think we both aren't the biggest Bob Melvin guys, but he does get fired at the end of the season. I was very excited. I thought in my gut, I'd tweeted out, I thought they were going to keep him one more year. Obviously, picked up the option. And they go out, and the first little smoke, you hear some Tony Vitello talk. I jump all over it. It's my guy. I have some buddies at Tennessee. Didn't really think it was ever going to be a possibility. Seemed like Nick Hundley's job to lose. He pulls out. Tony Vitello gets hired. In the most Giants fashion, it's a total fiasco with him getting hired. What's your initial thoughts on Tony Vitello? I think it's a home run hire. Too early to say, but I could not be more excited for the direction of this organization right now.
I love the hire. I knew absolutely nothing about Tony Vitello before this whole fiasco, but I saw a lot of videos. I did my research, and I love what I see from Tony. As far as like managers and head coaches go, I think baseball is probably the least impact on the game. So I think it's more about who he surrounds himself with that'll impact the results on the field. But I absolutely love this hire, and looking at all these other managers that are getting hired, I think Vitello. They call him a risk because he's never professionally played or coached, and I think Craig Stammen is just as much as a risk as Vitello is. So I think it's a risk this team needs to take. I think I'm tired of the 81-81 seasons, and I think he has that fire that hopefully the guys can get behind, and hopefully they trust in Vitello, and hopefully we get a nice staff around him to be able to improve all around next year too. I love
Yeah,
the hire though.
Yeah, no, definitely. I kind of want to touch on that risk aspect. 'Cause you just saw everybody running with it's a risky hire thing. I see it more of a risk to like stay with Bob Melvin, go for an in the box hire. This team on paper, like I'll say it, like they're probably not going to beat the Dodgers. And if they are going to beat the Dodgers, you're going to need to do some crazy stuff. This is a crazy hire. You watch the guy, it's like I watched his Bussin' with the Boys interview. I don't know if you got to watch that. I've watched all of his pressers. It's like you want to run through a wall for this guy. And I think
100%.
it's the opposite culture. I think even the fans, like it's a very passionate fan base. They can feed off this even more. I think it's going to make for some like fun games at Oracle Park. You saw the fan base already pick up Drew Gilbert. Like, I mean, Tony V's already, he's like, he made Drew Gilbert who Drew Gilbert was. So I'm excited to see how that plays over a 162 game season. It's not going to be the same, but he does bring that FU energy. I'm excited, especially very good at player development. Developed Garrett Crochet at Tennessee. Drew Gilbert was a stud. Our first round pick, Gavin Keelan, Blade Tidwell. I mean, I'm missing a ton of names. Who's the kid on the Angels? The second baseman, Christian Moore.
Christian Moore, yeah.
There's a ton of guys that he just develops well. He recruited Bryce Eldridge. Unfortunately, said no to him. Was committed to Alabama, but excited to see him work with Bryce. And I just think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's the most excited that I'm about is the developing of young guys, because we saw a lot of young guys not take that step forward this year, and it's something we're going to need, especially if we're not going to spend a ton of money in free agency.
Yeah, 100%. I think the coaching staff, well, it's not just like a Giants thing. I think all around baseball, you get to that major league level, and it's kind of, you're here to win. You're here to play at your best. And I think for the most part, development kind of stops. You know what I mean? Especially with hitters, it's kind of, we'll work on some things you need to work on. But as far as development, I think that's what the minors are for. And I think Vitello wants to change that. I think we saw with Ramos, who had an all-star season in 2024, and then did whatever he did last year. So I think Vitello will be good for stuff like that. I think there's probably something that went into him having a down year, and I think I'm excited to see how he treats players like Drew Gilbert, Luis Matos, these guys that need to keep getting developed at the major league level, because that's where they're going to be at. So
yeah, no, and it feels like, especially, I don't mean to generalize, but the Latin guys who've come up in our system aren't like, they obviously have incredible tools, and that's why they're here. But the Ramos, I'm as big of a Matos guy as you'll find, just aren't ready to defend at that level. You saw Ramos have the bad base running errors. I'm hoping Tony can kind of lock him in there. Even Casey Schmidt had some base running errors. All guys that have been in our system for 3 or 4 years, and I just think that's completely inexcusable as an organization. The way they developed Kyle Harrison could be a whole different tangent, but definitely hoping we improve there. Back to what you said about surrounding Tony V with a good staff. They make one hire, J.C. Tingler, former manager for the Padres, and was he the Twins bench coach this year? I believe he was.
I believe so.
He brings a ton of fire. I was reading one thing. Him and Tatis really got into it, and I don't know what year it was. He swung like a 3-0 fastball. I was like, it was a little much.
It was COVID year, I think.
Yeah, but I do think we need a little bit of that in there to kind of. We have a lot of veterans kind of stuck in their way, which is fine. Our vets are very good, but just some sort of fire. And it just seems like they're ready to roll over and just go with whatever, walk over Melvin, if that makes sense. But what did you think of Tingler initially? Because I hadn't heard much of him, but I was pretty fired up.
Yeah, I remember Tingler is the manager of the Padres, and that's when I first learned of Tingler. And that was his first time being a manager at the major league level. So I think when that Tatis incident happened, he kind of threw him under the bus a little bit. I think it was kind of he didn't really know what to do in the situation. Unwritten rules weren't really being broken at that time. So I think he kind of wanted to be traditional. It was his first time as a manager. But I think as far as Vitello goes, I think Vitello wants that fire and he wants that energy to be brought every day. And I think he wouldn't hire Tingler unless Tingler was 100% on board with that. So Tingler has a lot of experience at the major league level, and I think that's a great first hire for Vitello's staff. He's going to be bench coach, correct?
I think that's the assumption. I don't know if that's been 100% announced yet.
Okay. Yeah, well, I like the hire. I think he has major league experience, so a good first hire, and I'm excited to see who else they bring into the staff.
Yeah, no, definitely. Considering who else you're going to bring in the staff, JP Martinez gets announced. I think he was bullpen coach to the Braves, so a little bit of emotion for JP. There was a ton of Giants fans kind of throwing a fit about it.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that huge of a deal. What was your initial thoughts on that? We're going to have a new pitching coach and bullpen coach. I forget the bullpen coach's name, but yeah, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I feel like I could talk for a while on this, but I'm not going to try and do that. But I think JP Martinez gets a lot of credit for the pitching because early in the season, that's been a strength of this team. And JP's been with the organization for a while. He was with this organization through two regimes, the Kapler and Melvin era. So he's been around for a long time, and for the most part, the pitchers have been performing. I think you go back to May, that was an outstanding month for the pitchers, and he's also a Spanish speaker. So as far as guys like Doval or like Piguero or Rodriguez, it was nice to not need like a translator, and you had that connection with him. So I think as far as that goes, it is kind of a loss in that sense. But as far as is he a wizard and is he magically making these guys insane pitchers? I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think um, it is what it is. I don't think it's a huge loss. I think it's a sad loss because he's been with the organization for a while, but I don't think it's as big of a loss as people make it out to seem, because I think as far as development, we saw guys like Birdsong, Hunt get thrown into the rotation and just not find success really. And Roop found success. I do want to give credit where credit's due, but I think I kind of saw Roop's success coming from a mile away. And I think if you looked into the metrics, you can kind of see that he has that kind of web similarity. And he has a mix of pitches, not just two pitches like Hunt, Harrison, and a lot of these other guys have that are trying to be starters. So
Yeah, it really frustrates me going to that two pitch thing. So I don't throw
yeah,
that entirely on JP Martinez. It's just a very weird thing. Like Kyle Harrison had, like, obviously I think it was the best pitch in the minors with the fastball, but it's like he's gonna get away with that at the lower levels. It just amazes me that they tried to sneak him and Hunt's incredible changeup through the entire minors without trying to develop anything. Then Harrison gets traded and it's instantly, okay, we're throwing a cutter in there, we're throwing a sinker, and we're going to develop him. It's just really, really bugs me and a lot of other people.
me too.
They need to improve at that. And hopefully maybe a new pitching coach does that. But yeah, definitely an interesting move there. Gonna roll into segment 2, the fun segment. We got Giants needs and free agent targets and predictions. It's what everybody's here for, let's be honest.
Yes, sir.
I had a couple things. I think obviously we all know starting rotation, massive need. I have an outfield spot as a massive need, up for debate at second base, and you need to improve at the bullpen. So we will start at the starting rotation. You have Webb, Ray. Let's start in-house. You have Webb, Ray, Roop. I would say all three of those guys are locked into a rotation spot unless anything crazy happens in the offseason. In the shadows, you have Hayden Birdsong, Blade Tidwell, Carson Whisenhunt, Trevor McDonald as options in the org. What's your initial thoughts on where we stand with options in the org, and is there any guys like a Birdsong, a Tidwell that you think have a shot next year, or have you kind of lost faith, if you will?
Yeah, for sure. So I think the rotation is a huge need. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's these are not a great group of names. I think Ray had his first full season off of Tommy John, and he looked good for the first half, and then he kind of had a really not so good second half, which doesn't really get talked about that much. But and then Roop went down with the injury. But as far as these guys in the org like Birdsong and whatever, I think I would love to see Birdsong in the bullpen because that's where he succeeded last year, and he got thrown into the rotation and he forgot how to throw strikes. And I think the bullpen needs help just as much as the rotation. And I think if you have an in the house option that can do that, and he had, I'm pretty sure it was like a sub 1 ERA when he was in the bullpen, or
Yep.
maybe it was around 1, but he was locked down in the bullpen. So I think they should explore that as far as Birdsong goes. But Trevor McDonald finished the season strong. He had a couple strong starts to finish the season. I think he'll be able to prove something in spring training. Hunt gives up way too many home runs, way too many.
Yep.
Tidwell, we haven't seen him at the major league level yet. I think it'll be the same thing for him. He'll get an opportunity in the spring, but I don't think he's going to stop them from signing a starting pitcher or going out and trading for one. But this rotation definitely needs a lot of help.
Yeah, no, I kind of want to piggyback on the Birdsong thing. I believe it was a sub 2 ERA. He gave up the bomb to Bryce Harper. I don't even know why I remember that. I think that was the first run he gave up. And I think he got touched up in Colorado a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, he looked really good there, really confident, trying to earn something. So I definitely think that's something you could explore and also save some money there because,
Yeah.
like, we'll get into the bullpen arms. You're going to overpay for relievers no matter who it is, and it could turn into a total disaster if they don't work out. I like Hunt as a potential bullpen piece, too. We need some lefties back there. The changeup's really good. There's kind of some Roop-like tendencies with McDonald. I'm excited to see him in the fall, or in the spring, I mean, but kind of with you there. Probably still need to sign two guys, maybe trade for a guy, and especially we can go back to Robbie Ray. We could do a whole in-depth episode on Robbie Ray. The second half was terrible, and you don't want to look at the Savant page because there's a lot of blue there, and that's pretty scary for me at least. I don't think you can just pencil him in as a number two. You're going to get sub 4 ERA because I think there's a chance that he's due for some negative regression. So we'll see what they do there. What does that leave us? We've seen Greg Johnson do his classic Greg Johnson spiel that we're not going to give a long commitment. We're not going to go over $100 million. So for me, that means we're not going after Cease. We are not going after Valdez. And the Amai guy seems maybe like an option just because he's 27 years old. But that leaves you with Amai, who's like a $150 million guy. Ranger Suarez, $92 million. You got Zach Gillen, 76. You got Michael King, 57. You got Shota Imanaga, 43.5. Merrill Kelly, 35. Who's kind of your top arms that if you're Buster Posey, you're going after?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot of arms on the market, obviously, for free agency. I would really like to see them explore the trade market. I think their farm isn't the at the top by any means, but I think, like you said, they have right field and second base. Those are the needs on the team. And you look at these other positions, they're going to be locked up for a long time as far as like shortstop, third base, catcher. Bailey still has like 3 more years. Hooli, he's on a long-term deal. These spots are going to be like taken up for a long time. So you got to like, trade some of these prospects that have value, and you can trade them for guys that have value, say Joe Ryan. Sonny Gray is kind of a lesser one.
Freddie Peralta.
Freddie Peralta, yes. I would love to see him on the Giants. Would love to see him on the Giants. But yeah, as far as the market goes for these free agent pitchers, I don't mind Greg Johnson being a little reluctant because I would also not pay Dylan Cease $150 million. I think he had a 4.5 ERA this year, and I know the metrics are good, but I'm not giving a guy with a 4.5 ERA $150 million. It's pretty ridiculous. I think he could be a good pitcher, but I think his market's a little ridiculous in my opinion. I think realistically he'll probably sign on a shorter term deal with opt-outs. That's how I see his market going. But I like Ranger Suarez a lot, and Imanaga, I was surprised to see him become a free agent, but I like him too as far as the free agent market goes. And Imai, I don't know a ton about him because he's overseas guy, but from what I've seen, he seems like he has the stuff, and seems like you have to take a chance on those guys if you want to compete in baseball today. So I would not mind bringing Imai over either.
Yeah, no, definitely. Jung Hooley hasn't been a disaster, but I get kind of weary going for another overseas guy. But everybody says he's disgusting, like 99, like top of the line stuff. So that would definitely intrigue me. The Shota thing's interesting. I did not think he'd opt out either, but he is qualifying offered, so I wonder if that makes it a little bit hesitant. I don't think Posey gives a crap about picks, but I do think they're going to trade for a pitcher. I'm with you, Joe Ryan or Freddie Peralta. I would go be over the moon for one of those guys. It'd be so damn fun.
Joe Ryan, Bay Area native, pretty sure.
Yeah, well, was he Fremont or was that Scooble? I forget.
I think Scooble was Hayward.
Yeah.
And then Ryan, I made a post about it.
Yeah.
He deadass might be San Francisco, like just straight up.
Yeah, he just looks like a ball player too. He's sick. So I think there's going to be some fun things to do in the rotation. I'm with you. Dylan Cease, $150 million is ridiculous. Framber Valdez, I don't know the guy, but seems like a little bit of a cancer after that whole.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
I was like smart. A huge guy before that, but that seriously might have cost him some money. So we'll see what they go there. We'll transition to the outfield. Contrary to popular belief, I think we've done a good job, better than most, at pointing this out. Jung-Hoo Lee was legitimately very, very bad in center field last year. I'm a Jung-Hoo Lee jersey owner. I like the guy. I don't really know why I bought the jersey, but he was probably one of the... I think I saw somebody post about it today. 26th out of 28th outfielders over 500 innings. Elliot Ramos legitimately looked unplayable in left field. They don't know what they have in Gilbert. Why do they insist on Herrera Encarnacion? Luis Matos will be the best player in the league for a month and then not being able to hit. So where do you kind of see in terms of the organization in the outfield, and what would you like to see? How would you like to see them attack this offseason? Because the free agent market's a little thin. Trade market doesn't seem like much. Seems like a tough position.
Yeah, I'm laughing because I've always been like of the belief that, outfield defense isn't crazy important if they have a good bat. But after watching this season and kind of seeing everybody we had, it was it was pretty freaking bad, man.
Yeah, same here.
Um, it was pretty horrible. But I think you got Jung Hoo Lee, who he's going to be a spot in the outfield, and then Elliot Ramos was an All Star in 2024. Like I said, I know he's not making a ton of money, but he's probably going to be a starter next year if we're just being real. So that leaves one outfield spot, and you would want that guy to be able to defend, preferably. I know Kyle Tucker is the top guy on the market. There's kind of been some connections there as far as the Giants go. I don't know if they'll be willing to spend that much on Kyle Tucker, but would love to see him on the Giants. His defense isn't elite by any means, but I think his bat outweighs that, so I would be just fine with that. As far as the defensive options, you got Harrison Bader and Cody Bellinger, both great defenders in the outfield, especially Harrison Bader, who would probably sign for a lesser deal too as well. So if they want to go that route, Harrison Bader, you can plug him in center field, and that would allow Jung Hoo Lee, who has a great arm, just doesn't have a lot of range. You could plug him in right field, and I think that would be a fine combo if you're willing to sacrifice the bat a little bit with Bader, who had a good 2025, but I think his bat is due for regression, especially if he were to play at Oracle Park. So as far as the outfield goes, I think internally they don't trust Matos, Luciano, or Gerard to be that third person, and I think they're going to upgrade it. I'm just unsure who it's going to be. I think they're going to be in the mix for Tucker, but I think we'll likely see Harrison Bader. I don't see them paying Bellinger over Tucker. It's a $10 million difference. I think if you're going to pay Bellinger, just pay Tucker,
Yeah,
in my opinion. But maybe they will. Who knows?
yeah.
But
It's also just it's all. Sorry to cut you off. It's just a
yeah,
disaster that you have a top 10 prospect in Luciano that can't play. But Matos was, I believe, number one in the org at one point, unplayable. It's just
yeah,
we gotta be better down there somehow.
yeah,
But yeah, I agree. Like I think Jung Hoo Lee can be a weapon in right field. I think that could be very fun. I posted earlier today. I'm a big Bader guy.
yeah.
Wasn't fully aware he had reverse splits when I posted that. Kind of weird. Because I thought historically he hits lefties pretty well, but that's another underlying thing they need to do better. They couldn't hit left-handed pitching this year. It
Yeah.
was shocking. So maybe he helps with that. Drew Gilbert, what's your thoughts on Drew? I mean, I think it's a good center field glove. Hasn't shown the ability to hit yet. I think he needs to earn his way on this team. But what's your initial thoughts on Drew?
For sure. Before Drew, I do want to say reverse splits. Kyle Tucker has reverse splits. Kyle Tucker hits lefties.
Let's
Just want to
go.
throw that out there. But yeah. As far as Drew Gilbert goes, I love him. He. I don't think we've seen a player. I don't. I think he's a lot different than Hunter Pence was. But I think he kind of brings that same energy in a sense, that same aura, and that same vibe to the ball club. But I think he's kind of what this team needs because I don't think you go in there having him as the third outfielder next year, but I think he would be a great fourth outfielder. He's got great defense. He's got the tools. He's got good contact, good speed. But the pop is definitely, I mean, I don't know if you develop that necessarily, but I think if he kind of stays in the zone a little more, he can be something great. But I don't know if I'd trust him as a third guy. But I do think, like Vitello said, he wants these guys to develop more at the major league level. So I think, especially with Drew being his guy, I think he'll want. I think he'll get the best version of Drew Gilbert that he could possibly get. So I'm excited to see what that can bring to this team. And I think stealing bases is going to be a huge part of it because this team could not steal bases last year, and it was ridiculous.
I'm really happy you brought that up. I mean, it's been wasn't just a Melvin thing either. They can't steal bases. I remember Jung Hoo Lee KNBR said the goal was 30. Did he even get 10 this year? Would he get like 7 or 8? Like
He didn't. I don't think he got 10. He might have been
yeah,
around 10, but I don't think he got
and
10.
it doesn't make me think it's Lee's fault either because Adames had what 20. I mean, Juan Soto stole like 35 bags this
I
year.
think
Josh
Juan Soto
Naylor.
might have stole more than our whole team.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Naylor is not a fast guy. He stole 30. Like, they have to do that because it's going to be another year. I'm very high on this offense this year, but it's not going to be a Blue Jays type offense. Like, they're going to go through some
No.
rough stretches with the swing and
Yeah.
miss stuff. And if you can just steal a bag there once in a while, Jung Hoo Lee's quick, Adames is quick, Gilbert's quick. Imagine they bring in another guy's quick. Like, I agree with you. That needs to be a huge point of emphasis in the
100%.
offseason.
I really wanted them. Sorry to cut you off. Like I really wanted them to bring Antoine Richardson back into the organization.
Yep.
I didn't know how realistic that would have been, but what he did with Soto, and even what he did in his time here, I really liked Richardson. I think he has the most aura out of any first base coach in the league, and I would have loved to see him back, but he's with the Braves now, so gonna have to pivot and find someone who's obsessed with the metrics. So,
Yeah, and be obsessed with being great on the base pass because it wasn't even just
100%.
stealing either. They cost themselves way too many runs, including Matt
Ramos.
Williams over at third, but
Yeah.
especially Ramos. So yeah, clean that up. That's an underrated thing we should talk about more this offseason. Going over
Yeah.
to second base, I'm a huge Casey Schmidt guy. Is Casey Schmidt your long-term answer? Would you like to see one more year of him, or would you like to see a Bo Bichette, Gleyber Torres 3 at 57? What are you kind of thinking at second base?
Yeah, it's very interesting because Casey Schmidt, if you watched games last year, he made a lot of good contact. Didn't always get results, but he's definitely a ball player. The defense spot at second base isn't anything to, it's not elite by any means, but his bat looks really solid. As far as the second base position goes, there's not a lot of good options out there, but there is two on the market in Bo Bichette and Gleyber Torres. I don't think Casey Schmidt will stop them from pursuing a Gleyber Torres or checking to see what Bo Bichette's market is like. But I do think they won't be upset if they miss out on these guys because they want to see what they have in Casey Schmidt. And I definitely don't think Christian Koss is the long term answer. I think, but I just had to bring him up. But Casey Schmidt, I don't know if he's the long term answer. I don't know if I could say yes or no to that right now. But I saw flashes last year, and I think another full season. I don't think he's going to have that long of a leash if he's playing bad, but I'm kind of interested to see what he would do. But I don't think he'll stop them from pursuing someone this
Yeah, no, I
offseason.
agree. If you can get Bichette, I mean, I'm a huge Bichette guy. I would be very
Me too.
interested in. I mean, you mentioned Christian Koss. Christian Koss is an awesome utility infielder. Like,
Awesome.
I feel
Amazing.
like people didn't talk about that enough. Like, people were kind of ripping on him. Like, if that's your 26th guy, like, I feel really good about him
100%.
spot starting. So yeah, like I can't say like I want them to like go pound the table for Bichette, but if it falls to you and the market's there, great. Glaber's a little interesting with the qualifying offer, but he's a very like people kind of shit on Glaber online. It's like it's a sub 20% strikeout guy. He hit 3 on a playoff team. Kind of fits everything Buster Posey's talked about wanting in
For
the
sure.
organization. So I definitely do think that's more of a realistic possibility than people think. So definitely keep an eye on that one. Going to the bullpen kind of seems like you're not going to get a top 10 bullpen no matter what they do here.
No. No chance.
So it's just kind of working around it. So I had written down, you feel good about Eric Miller, assuming he's healthy. I was texting him the other day. He seems to be doing a little bit better. Ryan Walker, I mean, I might get smoked for this, is due for some positive regression. Like, he's not going to be your closer, but he's got he like the underlying stuff, like, he's got a shot. Jose Buteau looks pretty good. Joey Lucchesi looked good. You can add Birdsong into that mix. Joel Paguero, Matt Gage look decent. Kind of where do you see this bullpen going? They probably do need a closer. They probably do need a setup guy. But the rest of the bulk, like it's a little closer than people think, I'd say.
For sure. I think as far as the bullpen goes, I mean, these guys, we said like five, Lucchesi, Walker, Miller. I wouldn't bet on all of them having good seasons next year. I think maybe one of them will kind of
Mm-hmm.
underperform. Like you said with Walker, I think he's due for some positive results. I don't want to see him pitch in the ninth inning one time next year. I think they should definitely explore a Robert Suarez or a Devin Williams, even though Devin Williams didn't have a great 2025. He's closed before and he's been elite. He just forgot how to do that in New York. But I would love to see them pursue a closer this offseason. But I think overall, what we saw of Peguero last season, I really liked. Gage was solid there for a minute, kind of regressed a little bit to end the season, but still looked like he could be a guy, especially as a lefty. Eric Miller had an insane season before he got hurt. I don't think he'll have a 1 ERA again, but I think he'll be a solid guy for sure. Um, Jose, or is that his name? Jose
Jose
Buto,
Buteau, I think is how you say it.
Buto.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I mean, he's not a leverage arm or anything. He's
Mm-mm.
kind of just a guy in the pen, a filler. Um, I don't know what to expect from him. We got him in the Rogers trade, was it right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would love to see them bring Rogers back. I think he's going to have a good market, but I would love to see him bring back. I think he would be down for a reunion too, but he's not a closer and he is going to make closer money, so I think they'd be kind of hesitant maybe, but that's kind of where I'm at with the bullpen. I think you just kind of got to hope some of these guys perform next year because you can't spend a ton of money on the bullpen.
No, you can't. You hope you kind of find like an Eric Miller kind of came out of nowhere. Ryan Walker came
Yeah.
out of nowhere. If you can get one or two of those guys, I know Trent Harris and Triple. I'm not a huge like like I don't study the River Cats that closely, but
Yeah.
I know Trent Harris had a good year. Just get me like sub 4.2 ERA, and you've got a shot. I think Devin Williams is going to be the steal of the offseason. It's a hot take for
Yeah.
you right there. If you can find a way to
Okay.
make that happen, he has the best pitch in baseball. I think. I mean, his market's weird too. You're seeing like Heyman says he's going to get a 1 year deal. You see other guys saying 345. Like I'd give him 345, maybe with an opt out tomorrow. As you
Yeah.
said, Robert Suarez, interesting arm, not opposed to that whatsoever. Tyler Rogers, I think almost makes too much sense to come back. And as you said, I think his market's going to be a little more competitive than Giants fans think. But definitely
100%.
definitely some fun things you can do there. I know you haven't posted your off-season plan yet. I posted mine. I'll repeat it in case anybody didn't see it. So it's assuming no Kyle Tucker. I want to emphasize you need to. I think you'd agree. You need to make Kyle Tucker an offer he can't refuse. Like you need to get him to that
100%.
table, and if he says no, if all offers are even, you need to up it, and he doesn't want to come. That's fine. We can
Yeah.
move on. Which is like if we're all being honest, that's probably exactly what's going to happen. Like we're
Yeah.
going to be in the mix till the end. He's going to say no. He's going to go to the Phillies or Yankees. We're going to be pissed. But if that doesn't happen, you're still going to have a good chance to do some fun things. I'm signing Ranger Suarez. Makes too much sense. Going to be under a crazy not going to be a crazy contract. He's 29, I believe. Very good arm. I'm trading for Freddie Peralta. You could insert any trade here. You could go Joe Ryan. You could go Freddie Peralta. You go Sonny Gray. Seems like the Giants are interested, and then you're good there. That's the bullpen we just talked about. You can sign a closer. I like Devin Williams. You like Robert Suarez. That's a fun thing there. Get Tyler Rogers just for the fun of it. You mentioned Harrison Bader earlier. I had him down here. I think Bader's a really fun platoon guy with Gilbert. And then potentially a Gleyber Torres or Bo Bichette if you really want to get frisky. But I think that's a very solid offseason that you're not spending that much at.
Yeah. Um, I haven't posted a plan because my plan was kind of revolved around Kyle Tucker, and then I kind of stuff was coming out, and I kind of just didn't want to, assume that we are getting Kyle Tucker, so I kind of abandoned that a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like your plan here a little bit. I think as far as if we don't sign Kyle Tucker, which probably won't happen, I think he's a Philly or a Yankee likely. Uh, I mean, we've seen that happen before. Judge, Yankees, Harper, Phillies.
Ugh.
It's always those teams. Not sure what they exactly have that we don't. Um, but anyways, I think I love what I see. I would love Ranger Suarez to be a Giant. I would love Joe Ryan to be a Giant. Freddie Peralta as well. Any of those guys really. Merrill Kelly, he'll probably sign for a lesser deal. Had a solid year last year. He's going to be short term for sure because he's old. So if you want to bring him along, you can do that. I will say Robbie Ray is basically on a 1 year deal, so I think they can kind of afford to sign someone long term a little bit because money is going to come off the books next year. I don't know if they'll want to bring Ray back next season. We don't know how what his market's going to be yet or anything, but he's basically on a 1 year deal, and you can kind of work with that a little bit because he's making $25 million this year, so he's getting paid a lot, and
Yep.
that money's coming off the books next year. But Tyler Rogers, Devin Williams, if they can do that to the bullpen, that's awesome. Harrison Bader, outfield defense like we talked about, and he can steal bases too. So two birds, one stone. This would be a solid offseason. And you need guys like Adames, Devers, Chapman to play like they're getting paid. And I think this is a postseason team. So I really like what I see here, and I hope they're willing to spend.
Yeah, I hope so too. Go get Kyle Tucker. Got some Q&As. Got a lot of fun questions here. Thanks for sending these in on Instagram. We'll start off with Shane.Patel1. Said, are we wasting Logan Webb's prime? He would have had a similar postseason as Bum. And I'll let you start off there.
Yeah, I think it's kind of rough to assume anyone would have a postseason like Bumgarner did. I think, as we get further and further away from it, people kind of forget how crazy what he did was. Like we saw this year with Yamamoto, Bumgarner came up a lot, and I think we can appreciate both of them. But if we do want to like pick one, I think you got to pick Bumgarner.
Oh, no question.
But yeah, what we saw from Logan Webb in 2021, the only season that he's been a part of the playoffs, was phenomenal. I was at one of those games against the Dodgers where he pitched, and he was absolutely amazing. I think he's a riser. He doesn't necessarily pitch well against these teams in the regular season for some reason, but he pitched amazing against the Dodgers in 2021 in the playoffs, and I'm excited to see him pitch in the postseason again if we ever get there. And I I think he could be a big riser. I think it's just the guys around him that need to step up because I don't know how Robbie Ray's going to do in the postseason. I don't know how Landon Root is going to do in the postseason. He's a lot of these guys just like they've never kind of been there. So and that's kind of what cost them in 2021, like we saw with Kevin Gosman, who was amazing this year.
Yeah.
Wish we brought him back, but he didn't have a good postseason with us at least. But
Yeah, I mean, I do think that's like the one player on the Giants. It's like every time we get eliminated, it's like, wow, I feel bad. Like if you can insert a player, like I feel bad for Logan Webb because like you watch those 2021 highlights, like it gives me the chills every time. We lost the series, but
yeah.
it was baseball like we hadn't experienced since 2014. Like it was so fun. Have to find a way to get him back there. I do think there's a good chance. I mean, we say it every year. There's a good chance, so it's time to go fucking do it. We got more. Not a question. Just want to hear a nice 2025 Platinum Glove rant from Will Outman. What was your thoughts on that? I mean, that's a joke.
Absolutely ridiculous. I found out that it was fan voting, and I kind of it makes sense. I don't think an East Coast fan is gonna the average East Coast fan is gonna appreciate Patrick Bailey, but it's absolutely ridiculous. It should not be fan voting.
No.
Most fans do not know anything about advanced metrics. You don't even have to know anything about advanced metrics. Patrick Bailey is the best defender in baseball, and it's not even close at the most important defensive position in baseball. And I it's ridiculous. He won a Gold Glove, but he'll win some. Just I don't really know what to say. I mean, they got to change it. You can't do fan voting for this type of award.
No, it's like if the NFL voted for like MVP with fan voting. Like it makes it, like I had no idea it was fan voting when that got announced.
Neither did
I
I.
couldn't believe it. And then you see those markups. I guess it's obviously not the Savant one. There's some weird metric they use where Tatis was number 2, but it's like he wasn't even the best outfielder in the NL. Like PCA's better. I just couldn't believe that, and I don't like Padres fans, so that was a day ruiner for sure.
Yeah.
Scrolling more. How do you think Vitello will differ from Melvin? Do you think the lack of pro experience will affect him? And do you have any concerns about it from Drake Poitras?
You want to take this one first? I'll go
Yeah,
second.
I'll go first. So I actually played high school baseball with Drake. That's why I picked that one. So I mean, how's he going to differ from Melvin? I feel like that's the wrong adjective. Like it is the pure opposite of Bob Melvin. You're going to see. I mean, for right or for wrong, he's going to wear his heart on his sleeve. I do think at times that could get a little tiring for some people, maybe veterans. It might wear out his welcome a little bit. So there's definitely, he could be a little too much, which I'm fine with. I think where there's going to be an adjustment period for everybody. But I don't necessarily worry about the lack of pro experience with him. I mean, Buster Posey hired him. He's going to have Bruce Bochy now to talk to. He's got Dusty Baker to talk to. I mean, J.C. Tingler is a former MLB manager, so I'm not that worried about it. I'm fired up about what he's going to bring here. He's not going to get ran over by umpires. He might get ejected 25 times this year. It could be like an Aaron Boone situation. Like, it's going to be cinema every time the Giants play, and that was a big complaint about me and a lot of other fans. Like, you watch a Bob Melvin-led team, like, half the time I want to take a nap watching as we lose 2-1, and it's going to be, like, for better or for worse. Like, this could go poorly. I don't think it will, but you're going to be able to watch the Giants every night and be really excited to do it.
I 100% agree with you. And like as far as the differential goes, it seems like they go the exact opposite route every time. They went from Bochy to Kapler to Melvin now to Vitello, and that's just like they just keep going back and forth with the opposite type of manager. And I'm very excited to see what he'll bring. I think the players need to buy in. That's the most important thing. And I think we've already seen some players doing that, like Logan Webb, for example. And we've seen tweets about players reaching out to Drew Gilbert to kind of hear what they think about him. And Drew Gilbert has nothing but positive things to say about him, obviously. So I think it's just a buy-in type of thing. And you got to get the right staff. You got to get respectable coaches that players respect. Mark Hallberg's been around there for a long time. I'm sure he'll be back. Bochy's back in the organization. I don't think he'll be in the dugout, but special advisor. So he's a very a lot of these people just command respect, and I think if you get your players to buy in, it'll be a successful thing. And I'm so pumped because I just want to see this team win, and I want to see them celebrate. My God, I want to see him jump into the stands and go crazy. I'm trying to like imagine Bob Melvin celebrating versus him, and it's I need to see
Yeah, I mean him popping champagne. Like I posted a
it.
clip like not too long ago. Like he's gonna live in the city because Kapler had a great time. Like you're gonna see Tony V like shotgunning beers after games. Like I can't wait. It's gonna be
So excited.
incredible. So hopefully we win some games to help him do that. Kind of an interesting question here from Pushed at 20. I hadn't really thought about it. Who, in your opinion, becomes the crown jewel prospect in the Giants organization once Bryce loses his prospect eligibility? Kind of who are you looking at for that role?
Okay, for sure. I know I was gonna say besides Bryce Eldridge. So let's say Bryce Eldridge is on. Do you think he's gonna be on opening day roster?
That's another one I've kind of thought at that kind of opens up the second base thing a little bit. If you don't think Bryce is ready, it kind
Yeah,
of opens up some Casey Schmidt at first base things if they feel like they want to go with the Bichette thing. But
yeah,
I think it probably like 80% he's on the opening day roster, but I'm not
eighty
sure. What do you
percent.
think?
I agree as well. We can talk about that after this. But as far as like the prospect goes, after Eldridge, I think I don't know. There's not really a guy. I guess you have to say Gonzalez, Josuar.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen a lot of the international guys work out for the Giants as of late. Like Luciano was a highly touted prospect. Giants failed him. I hope that's not the case for Josuar, but he will be that guy. He keeps climbing up the rankings. Exit velos are through the roof. He has great speed. From what I've seen, good defense at shortstop. Likely won't be the position he plays at the major league level, but I think he'll be the guy in that organization, and he's just going to keep climbing up the rankings as well. And I think the Giants have a lot of underrated guys in that farm system, but as far as like the top guy in that farm, I think fans should be excited about Josuar, and I hope this organization does not fail him.
Yeah, no, he's got all the tools in the world. What's he up to pipeline? I think he's like mid 80s. Like I've seen
Yeah,
people say like he has legitimate like you could see him top 10 list if all goes according to plan, which usually
for
doesn't
sure.
happen for Giants prospects. Kind of a curveball I'm going to throw you. 20-year-old Jacob Bresnahan, single A dog left-handed pitcher, another name to keep an eye on. We seem to do better with the pitchers, but if you're bored right now listening, go check his numbers. Disgusting. Let's go back to that Eldridge thing. I think
Yeah,
somebody asked about it. I don't know who did, but yeah, back to opening day. Obviously, expectations are through the roof. I almost feel bad for him. Kind of what
yeah.
would you expect in a 2026 season from Bryce Eldridge? Because I just think I think the world of the kid. I think he's going to be an awesome MLB player, but I just caution fans for thinking he's just going to pop 25 home runs out for an 850 OPS in his rookie year.
Yeah, and let me tell you, I'm one of those fans that need to be cautioned because that's exactly what I think he's going to do. I, I mean, his power is through the roof. I think with him, swing and miss is a big issue because he's 6'7". And we see that with James Wood. I think James Wood was probably second. I think in terms of strikeout percentage, these tall guys, unless you're Aaron Judge, you're going to strike out a lot. And I don't think it's necessarily something that people should be too scared of because that's just a part of his game and it comes with his power. But I don't know what his expectations should be for next season. I want to see him perform. I hope he has above an 800 OPS. That would be amazing for this team. And I hope he stays healthy as well. He's had some trouble staying healthy recently, but if he can stay healthy, I really do see him hitting for around 30 homers next season. I don't want to. Nick Kurtz had an insane season. I don't think he'll have a Nick Kurtz level season, but I think he'll be a very very good player for years to come. So
I,
I'm excited.
I mean, yeah, he's 20, just turned 21. If you can like screw 30 home runs. If you get 20 home runs out of the kid and like a 785 OPS, that lengthens the lineup such a
For
ridiculous
sure.
amount.
For
I mean,
sure.
we were starting Lamont Wade Jr. at first base in
Wilmer Flores,
April.
dude. I
Yeah,
mean, he was
Flores.
playing like
Like if they like that's a like it could be so fun. Yeah, I have the chills talking about it right now. But hopefully he figures it out. He's got the swing and miss, but I don't know about you. Like I was pretty impressed by the approach. Like I thought the approach was kind of going to go
for
to
sure.
Schmidt, but I thought he looked the part up there for sure.
He did. He wasn't getting results, which it really bothered me because I want his stats to be good so bad. I care about stats so much, and he
Yeah,
just kept flying out to the warning track, and that really bothered me. And
yeah.
I also had like a graphic made for his first home run. We don't have to get into that, but we'll get to use that next season. But yeah, he just couldn't really get results. He was hitting the piss out of the ball when he was at the major league level,
Yep.
and I hope that translates next year because I mean nobody in this on this team. I don't Maybe Devers. I don't think anyone hits it harder than he does.
No, I mean he was getting robbed at Chase Field that series. That was
Absolutely
ridiculous.
ridiculous, man.
It was ridiculous. We'll go back to talking Giants. He said, "What's one reasonable trade you'd like to see the Giants make?" I'm gonna go Freddie Peralta. What are you going with?
I'm gonna go Joe Ryan, and I think they should not. They should consider trading Josh Uar. He's so talented,
Yeah,
but if he's what that costs to get someone like Joe Ryan who has like 2 years left to control, or even Tariq Skubal, you know what I mean? You
yeah,
can trade him because this organization has failed these international prospects for like years. It's been years since they've developed one. Even going back to Lucius Fox, who was like a top prospect
yeah.
in 2016, and he just didn't never made it to the major league level. I think he actually did, but not for long. But I would not mind including him for a trade to get a pitcher that will elevate this pitching staff. We didn't even talk about Skubal this episode. If they can get Skubal, even if it's just for a year,
Yeah.
I mean I do it.
But you send Eldridge.
No,
Yeah, I feel like that probably makes him hang up.
I can't. It's only a year, dude. I can't do a
Yeah,
year.
no, 100%. Even like the 10-year, $400 million deal. I don't think I'm not sure if that's a crazy take.
Would
But
you send Roop?
in a deal like that, I think I'd send Roop. I'd send pretty much anybody. I think I'd send Eldridge if you're guaranteeing the extension for Tariq Skubal. I'm sending Eldridge. I don't even.
Let's say he becomes a free agent. Because
Yeah,
I feel like a player becomes a free agent, the team that he was on obviously is higher like priority than others. But I think let's just assume he becomes a free agent.
yeah,
Would you trade Eldridge? Like because that's kind of how I view it. You can't just assume they'll sign an extension. He
yeah.
has
It's
1 year.
fair.
He has 1 year left, and I feel like that's how you got to approach trade talks. Like I'm trading for a 1 year deal. Look
Yeah,
at like
if
Juan
it,
Soto when he was traded to the Yankees. You know what I mean?
yeah, if you're going 1 year deal, do you really think Tariq Skubal gives you a better shot to beat the Dodgers and win the World Series?
Yes.
Like you think you're going to beat the Dodgers in a 5-game series with Tariq
Let's
Skubal?
see. Let's see. Because you got Webb versus Yamamoto. Who would they pitch game one? You know what I mean? Like
I mean, you go Skubal for sure.
you have to, right?
If you get
So
Skubal twice, Webb twice, probably, and
right,
then like a
who
Root.
would Roop? Yeah, we would need something out of Roop. So that's like if it's a 5 game series, like they have to. Like I mean, it's baseball. Anything can happen. But like
Yeah,
I really think it like elevates because Scuba was lights out in the postseason.
and it's a free win every time he goes out there,
Literally,
like
if the
legitimately.
offense scores like 2 runs, but
Yeah, but if you're going 1 year deal, I just don't know that this team's quite ready to send Eldridge for a 1 year. I mean, that's essentially like you're all in, and
yeah,
I do think they'd have a very good chance at re-signing him, but I
yeah,
don't think I do that deal unless it's like a Micah Parsons deal where it's like I'm going to sign right now.
yeah, for sure. I agree with you.
Yeah, so we're gonna go. You already kind of talked about it. This is from Lucky Charm 408. Do the Giants need to make Hayden Birdsong a back end reliever or be a starter?
Yeah. I think spring training, obviously, they're going to try out everything. He's probably going to get like he's going to get stretched out in spring training. I would like to see him be in the bullpen because, like we said, the bullpen isn't necessarily a top bullpen by any means. But outside of a couple of outings, he was pretty much amazing, elite out of the bullpen last year when he was there for about a month and a half. So I would like to see him be in that bullpen, be a part of the bullpen. And because I even like he really shouldn't be in the rotation. Like I mean, you got to go get 2 starters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So I think he should be in the bullpen.
And even when injuries went down, like we didn't even have that horrible of injury luck in the starting rotation, but like there's
Yeah,
nothing back there after that.
dude, zero
So
depth.
yeah,
Zero.
they have to sign some guys. 209 glove plug said you still streaking in downtown San Francisco now that Tony V's hired. I do need to figure that out. I haven't been to San Francisco yet, so I'm hoping Drew Gilbert and Tony joins me on that one. This is a fun one. To the Max says, what pitcher or pitchers do you think is going to come out of nowhere in 2025, kind of like Ramos in 24? I'll let you start off there.
Okay, I feel that. So let's say if it was Ramos in 24, who do you think it was in 25? Root. Let's say Root.
Yeah, I'd say Roop. I don't think anybody really had him in the starting rotation going into the offseason.
Yeah, yeah. So let's say Ramos, Root. Who will it be this year? it's kind of tough to predict because most of the roster, like we said, is pretty much complete
Yeah.
with guys that have been here for a minute. I do want to say that I did predict we did breakout predictions. I had Roop last year,
Let's
so
go.
I do want to say that.
Yeah, 100%.
So for next year, off the top of my head, I'm trying to really lock in a good bet. Like nobody really comes to mind, but if
Yeah.
I had to put money on somebody, I'd say Drew Gilbert just because of the Vitello connection
Hmm.
and the tools. And they currently don't have a third outfielder, so I mean maybe even some injuries happen in the outfield and he gets opportunities. So I think that's my bet for right now is Drew Gilbert.
I like it. I think I'm gonna go. They asked for pitcher. I just don't see any pitchers coming for it. I don't know. Like I said, Trent Harris could be like a spawn-in bullpen guy. I
Yeah,
just like if they don't touch second base, I could see Casey Schmidt hitting up 22 to 24 bombs, like 780
yeah.
OPS, and that could be very fun. So I'll go with Schmitty there. Are you a Raiders fan?
I'm a New York Football Giants fan.
All right, then I don't know why this guy asked who our favorite quarterback prospect is for the Raiders, but we'll skip that one.
Do you have a favorite quarterback prospect? NFL draft?
I like honestly, I'm a huge NFL draft guy in general,
Yeah,
but we traded like we traded our first round pick, so I can't get that fired up about it. But I don't
yeah,
know. It's kind of a crappy class. I liked watching Mendoza at Cal. I don't know. Like I saw Ty
yeah.
Simpson live. He's cool. I just don't know that any of those guys push the needle.
I will say this QB class has like a lot of backup quarterbacks in the NFL. I think what's his I just had a absolute piss in my brain, but I really like some guys that aren't like this year. Like I like Marcel Reed out of A&M a lot. I
Dog.
like
I love A&M.
I love Arch. I think Lenore's Sellers needs to transfer, but this year the quarterback class they do all the right things, but I mean I just don't think anyone's really. I don't know. I just it's
Yeah,
kind of
no.
tough.
Yeah,
My team is Jackson Dart, so I don't have to worry about it.
I know you fired your coach today. We play you next week.
I
But you'll
really
beat
hope.
us. You'll beat us.
I hope not. I hope
Yeah,
not.
no, that's funny. All right, Cooper underscore Easton 17. What is our first big move of the offseason? You think we sign anybody before like winter meetings? I think you're December 8th. And who do you think's the first domino to fall?
I'm gonna go Max Scherzer.
Max Scherzer. I like
I
it.
say Max Scherzer. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't even know here. I think Tucker will wait probably right
for
to
sure.
like winter meetings. So
Winter meeting seems fair.
I don't think we're gonna do anything that big. I don't know when when do trades usually happen?
Trades. I'm trying to think. Like when did the Juan Soto thing happen? I feel like winter meetings too as well, because
Also, yeah.
that's when everyone's kind of buzzing and everything.
I
So
mean, yeah, so I'll just throw out the Peralta thing again. I think we're going to trade for a guy before Kyle Tucker because the trade doesn't impact really spending in free agency, so we're going to go do
yeah,
that. And in that Brewers deal, I'm going to call my shot right now. We're also going to grab Blake Burke, Tennessee home run leader, Bay Area kid, went to De La Salle. He's going to be a dog. He's going to be our right fielder in 2028. He's going to hit a ton of bombs. So I'm throwing that out there. You can watch Blake Burke highlights. The guy is incredible. All SF Giants question for you said, will the Kings be good this year? What's our thoughts on the Kings?
dude. Did do you a basketball guy?
Huge college basketball guy. I don't really watch the
College.
NBA though.
Yeah, got you. The Kings are absolutely terrible this year. It's honestly very sad for me. All of my teams have made the playoffs. I think one time since 2018.
Oh,
It's pretty bad. The Kings terrible roster construction. Doug Christie has no idea what he's doing. He played good when I wasn't alive, but as far as I've seen, he has no clue. The owner needs to sell, and honestly, there's nothing to be happy about in Sacramento. So, yeah, it's going to be a very long season.
yeah, no, that's rough. We will end it on a more positive note here. Already talked about it, obviously, but let's dial it in here from Ryesby246 says, what's one offseason move you want us to make? One move you think we'll make? We'll just go want. I'm going Kyle Tucker. Obviously, you want Kyle Tucker. And
For sure.
think, I'm going to go back to that Max Scherzer thing. It almost seems like a foregone conclusion, so I'm going to throw
Yeah,
Scherzer out there for the think.
for sure. We didn't really talk about Scherzer too much, but I think he'll be a giant, like we said. He has ties to Vitello. Giants need rotation help. He won't be that expensive. Um, I think he's an obvious look. But since you said that, I'm trying to like think of somebody else who could possibly. I like I like Bader. I think they miss out on Tucker. They don't want to pay Bellinger, and Bader has good outfield defense, so I like Bader as well.
Yeah, I like Bader.
Love
Stay
Bader.
the hell away from Trent Grisham, by the way. Didn't even want to
Stay
say the
away.
name.
Stay away, man. Stay away.
Yeah, but no, that'll wrap it up. Make sure you go follow both of us on Instagram at sfg.hottakes, at sfgiants.today. Hope to see you guys in future podcasts. You got any parting thoughts?
I had fun doing this with you. I appreciate you for having me on, man. It's always fun. We haven't done one of these in a minute. It would be imagine if we could get like a player or someone on here, or like a Pavlovich, or
Yeah,
like
bro, that would be sick. He's frying me on Twitter lately. I don't know.
dude. I was gonna mention that he fried your shit, dude.
Dude, I mean, it's respectable, but it's like, dude, like, we're talking about Mason Black like this. Like,
Dude,
come on.
I deleted a tweet, but I put I put out a tweet and I was like it was like cuts like players who elected free agency, and then I did like a meme for Hunter Bishop. It was like who wants me, and it was like nobody. Like
Nobody.
yeah, but I said Hunter Bishop, and then Hunter Bishop responded, dude.
Dude, on Twitter?
I've never felt more bad in my life, man. I deleted it so fast nobody could see it.
That's bad, dude.
I took the screenshot. I'll send it to you after this, but it was
That's
so bad.
awesome. No, yeah, like I feel like in general, like I'm really good with players. Like I'll lose it in the post game shows, but nobody's really watching those
Yeah.
post game shows on Twitter.
Dude, I
don't
love
tweet.
those, by the way. Those are awesome.
Yeah, no, thank you. But yeah, I mean the Mason Black thing is like I'm sure he's a great. It had nothing to do with Mason Black the person. It's like I watch him pitch. It's like ugh, just would rather have anybody else out there. But we should try to get a player. We should try to do these a little more consistently. Player, probably not Pavlovich, probably not Slusser, not on great terms with either, but we'll do our best.
Do you think Drew Gilbert would be down?
Dude, if I could pull Drew, I think he would 100% be down, but I have no contact with him. Does he follow you?
Probably not, but I could try and reach out. I messaged Josh Yor the other
Yeah.
day. He posted like a golf video on his story, and I said, "Where's the driver?" Like he was using an iron, and then he was like, "I have no idea what you mean, bro." And I was like, "Awesome."
But does he speak English?
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, we need to get like a Spanish speaker in here for that one.
Yeah, if we had to. So I think Gilbert would probably be the most likely because we have a lot of old guys on the roster. So
Yeah, no, Gilbert would be sick. I could get Eric Miller probably. I DM him a couple times. I met
I know
him.
you said you talked to him.
No, dude, he followed me on Twitter. It was like, I forget what it was. It was like, I had a horrible post-game crash out, and he like DM'd me. He's like, bro, these are funny as hell. He was like out hurt. I was like, dude, this guy's like watching it in the clubhouse right now.
That's hella funny. That's crazy. We should do it with Eric Miller. That'd be awesome.
No, yeah, I'd be fire. Let's get something in the works. But yeah, that'll wrap it up, guys. Colton, can't thank you enough for joining. We'll catch you guys next time.